And here we are. Just me, just the guest. I guess it's just me now. So maybe I'll just be interviewing myself. My name is Tristan Thompson. I also go by Tristar. I have a few published covers. I've been published since 2021. I think Andrew was going to cover my con artist covers, which I've had 2 come out in the past couple months. And this year is pretty much all that's been coming out. I've had a couple shows. I'll be at Nashville GalaxyCon in 2 weeks. And I'll be at Indiana Comic Con. I'll be at Fan Expo Chicago, as I do every year. And I'm trying to think what else I had. I have more covers coming out this year, but I'm limited on what I can talk about. Otherwise, I've been published by Dynamite, Coffin, Udon. What else? Zemiscope was a big one. I haven't done any work for Zemiscope in a few years, but it's I have probably about a dozen covers through them. And that's pretty much it. I'll let Andrew take it away whenever he gets back. Who knows when that's going to be. I might just be doing this, like just monologuing for an hour and a half. But actually, I'm going to shut my door because now that my cat left. Actually working on this this little sketch card. It's called a VOA sketch card, but you can record the process, and then whenever the purchaser buys it, they can scan this little QR code on the back, and you can see the process. So I take all my videos that I recorded of it, and then I upload it to VOA, and then when you scan the QR code, the buyer can see the process of the videos that I uploaded. So I'll be working on that in the meantime until Andrew gets his Wi-Fi fixed. Otherwise, I don't really know any abilities to entertain you besides just drawing. So that's what we're going to be doing. Hopefully you're listening to music or something, because I don't have anything to present you with. I'm in the coloring process now, so I'll be getting at my Copics. I start with the lighter colors first. Right now I've gotten a light skin tone and a light green. So next I'll be doing the hair, and then I'm going to do a light wash of alcohol markers, and at the end I'll probably do colored pencils, because I've been trying to like mix up my medias a little bit. I've been following some other artists who do the same thing, and they turn out phenomenal. There he is.
Sorry about that, everybody.
No, you're good. So I've been monologuing for like 3 minutes and 19 seconds now.
So anyway, welcome to my show, everybody. My name is Andrew Davis. You're watching Conversations in Pop Culture, and we are back to the basics. And I do want to introduce my sponsor really quickly, Pocket Jack Comics, with books like Palace of the Golden Princess and White Lily. And you can find the books at pocketjackcomics.com. But enough about that, because I have with me Tristan Thompson, not the basketball player, the comic cover artist, the graphic designer. You know, you've done a lot of other stuff. I don't know what you were monologuing about, but hopefully, you know,
pretty much like just introducing myself. So I told him where I've been published, the covers that have come out this year, and I have more stuff coming out that I can't really talk about. But yeah, con artists have been my biggest releases so far this year.
But we're going to talk about all that. But
Cool.
You kind of introduced yourself a little bit already, and obviously, I was going to give you a chance to introduce who you are, because it's been, I think, like 18 months, 2 years,
probably something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously you got a lot of stuff that's come out, but why don't you quickly introduce who you are?
So yeah, Tristan Thompson is my name. I go by Tristar. I figured out that Tristar is a shorter moniker. There's less chance of misspelling it when you go to search for my social media, less chance of it getting mixed up with the basketball player. So I just try and shorten it. It's more memorable. I've been published through Zemiscope. I've done about a dozen covers through Zemiscope. It's been a while since I've had a cover come out through Zemiscope, but actually just recently, maybe like September, I had that cover come out for Ralph Tedesco. It was the Escort, and that was the first time I had worked with Ralph directly since Zemiscope. And then I've had some con artist covers. I'm doing a series right now of Final Fantasy cosplay characters, and so I have 10 picked out. 3 have been released, or at least shown. 2 have been released. The third one, I think, is still on a campaign. I've done a couple Udon covers. I have another Udon cover coming out this year. Can't say what it is, but I've done Street Fighter. I've done Darkstalkers, Dynamite. I've done The Boys. I've done Vampirella, Red Sonja.
Yeah, so let's get into some of this stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So, obviously, I want to talk about con artists. So that's Ryan Kincaid. I think I got his name right. Hopefully, if I didn't get his name right, I'm sorry. I'm just going to apologize before I do anything wrong here. But obviously, I mean, con artists, it's a interesting, and they tend to do well on Kickstarter. And then I think there's stuff that's off Kickstarter as well with some of those. There's some exclusives that are off Kickstarter, I believe. I could be mistaken here, but that's my understanding.
No, you got it. Yep.
But like, how'd you get involved with that? Because it's a fun concept, and I have some of those, and I love looking at those covers. And it's cosplay, pop culture oriented, and I think it's kind of a big deal because it's similar to Xenoscope. It's bad girl art, it's all that. But like, how'd you get involved with that? Because it is a good campaign to be on.
It is, yeah. It's a lot of fun because you can pretty much pick whatever character you want as long as it can be passed off as a cosplay. So you can't create something that like couldn't take place in the real life, like in real world. So you can't have someone flying through the air like Supergirl. You have to have something that could be passed off as a cosplay. But how I got involved, I'm trying to think what my first one was. I think it was the Princess Peach cover I did a few years ago. I think that was in 2023. I believe that was the first one I did. It could have been a Sailor Moon. Yeah, that one. I don't remember if I may have done a Sailor Moon before that, though. I don't remember if it came out before or after, but Ryan and we shared a booth at Vegas, Amazing Con in Vegas, and I did a cover for that. And so Ryan just reached out to me and asked me if I would want to do a cover for him, because I think he had just seen my work that I'd done with Comics Elite, so he wanted to partner with me. And like I've grown, like I feel like Ryan and I are more than just like coworkers. I feel like we're more friends now, and his wife Shannon, I'm friends with her. So I think just being on a more personal level with them, they've continued to work with me because I think I'm easy to work with. I get to do fun covers for them, so I think we both win in that way.
So yeah, so let's talk about that, because, and we'll start with the Princess Peach, and then we'll work around that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you did that Princess Peach, which is this one right here. Then there's the tattoo version of that. Hopefully, is going to pop up here in a second. So you got the tattoo version, and then I'm not too sure, and I didn't want to show it if it exists, but there's obviously medals, foils that come with all this.
Yep.
I think there's some topless. I don't.
No, there was no top. That was as risque as it goes.
Because some of them go topless, and depending on
I think no. There's a Sailor Moon one, which is kind of, but it has like emojis over it. So, but there's nothing R-rated. At least not mine. Maybe it's like some other artists do, but not mine.
Yeah. So as soon as this thing pops down, it's just, there we go. It's one of those days. My computer is not being a good boy with me. But going into that, so what is that like? Because obviously you're doing Princess Peach. Everybody knows Princess Peach.
Right.
You get to do the traditional regular, and then you get to also do the tattoo version, which is kind of, a nice variation, but it's not over the top. I don't know how to explain that, because I don't think it's not safe for work, right? But it's that like bad girl vibe, but it's not like topless. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like,
right.
And I could still show that to my mom is the point.
Right. Yeah. I always try to keep my stuff PG-13 because eventually I like to work with DC or Marvel, and I feel like that's a big filter that they kind of have. Like if you get roped into that too much, then you kind of sequester yourself into that world, and that's fine. There's a lot of my favorite artists who work in that field, but for me personally, I'd like to eventually get something for DC, and it's just easier to get into that world if you're doing more than just like topless covers.
And then obviously, I mean, you're doing Princess Peach. And then to go further into this, because obviously I love Nintendo. And we'll talk about the Zelda one here.
Yep.
Which
that was Con Artists 5, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, that was it was a con artist, but it was a Bloodhaven exclusive. Do you know Bloodhaven?
I don't.
He's a big seller on Whatnot, and then I think he's grown quite a following on eBay Live. But that was last year, early in 2025. We did a release through Mutant City Comics. But it was his. I think he let me do whatever I wanted, but I was like, I haven't done a Zelda yet, so got to do a Zelda.
So let's talk about that because it's interesting, right? That obviously I buy and sell comics on eBay. I don't do eBay Live. I just don't have the time to go sit in front of a live audience.
Yeah, right.
I have a life outside of this. I'm sorry, everybody.
No, you're good.
It's the minimal amount of time that I have to myself. It's not a lot. But what is that like? Because it's interesting when you're developing somebody an exclusive. They're only selling it on their platform. And because I think it's interesting, right? Because you're giving somebody and you're providing somebody a unique product. But,
do we lose them again? Oh, no. Well, I've gotten a little bit further on my...
It's going to be one of these days. It's
you're back already. That was quick. Okay.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that, when you're developing somebody a unique product for themselves, like it's fascinating, right? But you also have carte blanche. So what is that like? Because it's kind of cool when it's your book and it's an exclusive for somebody else, and that it's not going to be in Kickstarter because it does have an element of, I guess, being more special. I don't know how to
Yeah. So when they did that one, they had a bunch of different versions. Like obviously I did the 3 versions. There was an armor version, there was the tattoo version, that one, and then there was like just a non-tattoo. But yeah, then they printed a gold medal. I think they did gold foil, and then they did a bunch of different glitter types as well. So I only had to do 3 pieces of art, but then they released it, or they printed it on a bunch of different cover styles. I think they all turned out great. Like me personally, I always like just the regular the virgin cover, like paper, because that just shows off the colors the best. The metal is also really nice because you can do remarks on it, and the remarks always turn out really good because the paint doesn't soak into the metal. It just sits on top, so the paint just looks solid. So it was nice because they could invest as much as they wanted separately into printing so many covers. And so that was a positive of that one. And you could only get it through Mutant City. It was Mutant City Bloodhaven exclusive. So that one, like, it went quick. I think I was up there for 2 days, like a Friday and a Saturday. And I don't know how many books I signed, but it was a lot of books. And I'm pretty sure we went through probably 90% of them, like sold 90% of the run that over those days.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because you mentioned a few things that are kind of cool, right? So obviously when somebody is doing a variant and they're having their own exclusive, you kind of said they can invest as much money as they want. So they could do all those crazy things on it and all those upgrades. Or they could do a gold medal or a gold foil or a gold, I don't know what we call it, but you could do medals, you could do gold foils, you could do different variations of this, you could do numbered positions, and you could have 10 different SKUs, and really the ceiling is the limit. And but you don't have to pay for it. Like that's what's nice about it, is that you don't have the problem of printing it. All you have to do is the art, and you just have to sign it, essentially. And like, because it must be nice to be like, this is all created, I just did the art, I got paid, I get to sign it, I get to now see my artwork on such a cool level and so many different variations of some cool shit, for lack of a better word here, right?
Of course.
Like, I mean, it must be cool at this. It must be so nice.
Yeah, well, I like seeing my art. I mean, not only like pay me, but also have someone else make a lot of money off of it, because then it shows that I'm valuable. So whenever someone else can make a lot of money off of my art, I think that's great. I love it. I love seeing them like really happy with how much they sold, because then that means they're gonna work with me again. It's job security for me to know that like I can make someone else a lot of money, because I'm happy for them in that case, because I got paid my share, so I'm fine. And I'm signing these books, like there aren't even books that have sold yet. There's just books that, like, once I'm up there, I'm signing Mutant City's own copies. That way when they sell them, they can upsell them because they're signed. So when I'm selling them, I'm charging I don't know, I think there was like $5 a signature. So I don't know. I forget if I was making half that, like $2.50 a signature. But if you're signing like hundreds of books, like that's awesome. Like I made as much money as I wanted to make before we even went live. Like just after signing the books, I'm like, okay, well, this is worth my trip up here. So it's something that like, yeah, you're making them a lot of money.
You're mentioning something, and I love going into the business of things, and people hate it, but this is what I think is important: is that you as an artist need to make the person who bought your art money. You're not responsible for promoting the book by any stretch of the imagination.
No, like it's nice to coincide. Like whenever the book gets released, I'll go ahead and finish. Whenever the book gets released, if they can let the artist know when it's getting released, that way we can advertise it. You coming back? It's coming back. I'm gonna wait for him. I'm gonna wait for him because he has questions. That way I can finish what I'm saying. So I've started to work on the hair a little bit. I don't know what is going up with his internet. I'll be in touch with my internet service provider. Well, I hope this is entertaining for you, having you see my giant forehead. Can't be that bad. Let's see if there's any comments. Live viewer comment. Okay, well, I guess there's no comments, so there's no reason to panic. No reason to keep chatting if there's no one to chat to. Now he's not even in here. Well, just a solo guest. Viewership down to 0. See if he even tries to come back. Did he abandon me? Is there anyone? Is he going to come in? I'm just live by myself. Could this be the worst interview I've ever had? I think I've been alone probably more than I've been asked questions.
Hopefully, I'm back.
Oh, there you are.
I don't know. It's not my friend today. It's just not my friend today. I'm sorry, everybody who's
No, you're
watching.
good.
But as I was asking,
Yeah.
what is, because I mean, I think it's a dirty thing in business where you got to make your client money, and you don't have any requirement to promote the book, and that's not your responsibility per se. That's their job to do all the social media stuff.
Mhm.
But it's still important that an artist makes their client money, because otherwise, you kind of alluded to it, where it affects your value, I think. But maybe
course,
I'm wrong.
yeah.
No, I know. I don't know anything.
No, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, that's how I see it anyway. But I think what I was saying was it'd be nice if publishers, like whenever you do the art form, if they let you know, which some publishers do, like Coffin's been really good about it. They let you know when the Kickstarter is going to go live or when to promote it. They'll send you an email like, hey, promote it in 2 days. Like, we're going to go live this day. And like that, I really appreciate that, because like the escort, I completely missed that. I didn't know when it went live. And then I was on the live sale with someone, and one of the viewers was like, hey, I got your cover for the escort. And I was like, I didn't know that was even out. Like, I would have put something out there. I would have like released the cover. Did I lose them again? Anyway, I would have put the cover out there just to let people know. So publishers, if you're watching, if you could make it a point to let the artist know when the cover's out. I don't know if you just put us all like on a group chat or something. I don't know. Just message us 2 days before. Let us know, hey, promote the cover this day. I had a conversation with Marissa Pope about it, and we both agreed. We just wish, because I don't know, we have too much other stuff going on, but we'll be glad to promote it if you let us know. And that's all I have to say about that.
Perfect.
Are you back?
I hope. I hope.
Did you hear what I said? I don't know if you like even caught what I said.
I think. I mean, if you explained it, then I'll just.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I explained it.
That works for me.
That's usually what happens when you get cut off. I just finish my sentence, and then I don't want to say too much, because I think you might have questions about some things I said. So I want to keep the good information for you.
Anyway, I want to show some more of these off, because obviously you mentioned Final Fantasy, so this is one of them that's out there. So I like Final Fantasy.
What's your favorite one?
So I'm weird, right? I played one on the mobile app on my iPhone when I was
I've never even played the first one. I've seen it play, but it didn't look interesting, so I never played it.
I mean, it is what it is. And then Final Fantasy 7, I enjoy Final Fantasy 7 because just because I just replayed the remake of that. But I had to wait a year because I'm not in the cool crack, because I have an Xbox. So I had to wait a year. So I'm sorry. I had to wait a year. But I enjoyed the remake of it, because I didn't play Final Fantasy 7 when it first came out.
You didn't play the original?
No. I had a GameCube. It's like I'm an kid. So like it just wasn't there. But like Final Fantasy 7 was great. I loved Advent Children, and then I love Kingdom Hearts, which has Final Fantasy aspects in it.
Yep.
And it's, I wouldn't say it's not a Final Fantasy game. It's more of a Disney game, but I love Kingdom Hearts.
It's Final Fantasy adjacent.
Yeah, because I mean Square Enix is involved, but then we have this in there, which is the other one, and then we also have, I think, something like this in there that may or may not be part of that.
Yep, yeah, it is. That's from Final Fantasy 9. Her name is Beatrix.
So, but that's on the Kickstarter, right? So I think that's kosher. I mean, that
one's. I don't know if that one's available on the Kickstarter anymore, because we got that one at Planet Comic Con just a couple months ago. So I don't know if they're also letting people buy it through the Kickstarter now. But I know the Cindy, that one was the most recent one. So I don't know if that Kickstarter is still going.
Yeah, no, because I don't know all the Kickstarters. As soon as this thing drops,
I know.
Soon. So I'm sorry, everybody. It's being difficult. My computer, it's going to drop and then it's going to not drop. But
Actually, I think all of these were done actually last year. Oh no, I lost him again. And he just has it over my face. This is the worst possible. This is the worst possible situation. I guess I didn't think it would get worse, and it actually did. It's kind of funny if you think about it. Well, I'll just go back to my doodles. Man, if anyone's actually watching this, thanks. But you can probably go do something. Oh, there you are. I was actually put behind the image, and I was like, if you're still watching this, like, I didn't have anything to say.
So basically, my question is that, like, what is it like to do all this Final Fantasy stuff? Because Final Fantasy is big. People love Final Fantasy, and you have like 10 of them coming out, and 3 of them are out. And what is that like? Because it's kind of cool to join stuff you want to
Yeah, it is. So Shannon actually, she messaged me, I guess it was about a year ago. She was like, hey, do you want to do a series of either Street Fighter covers or Final Fantasy? I was like, well, Final Fantasy, because I'm a bigger Final Fantasy fan, but I also have actual Street Fighter covers through Udon, and I don't want to like get those mixed up with the actual published covers. So, and there's no Final Fantasy comic out there, so like let's do that because that doesn't exist. Where Street Fighter actually does exist, like you can buy those comics. So, I grew up playing Final Fantasy, so I was a big fan of it. So I was excited to kind of revisit a lot of those stories from the games that I played, years and years ago, and just kind of get back into that world, like, listen to the music as I draw. So, it was, I don't know, it's fun. And I had a list of like probably 20 characters. I'm like, I can't do 20. That takes so long. So I had to like whittle it down, and I gave Shannon my list of 10. Like, here's 10. Like, that's more than enough. And I was like, is this okay? And she's like, I don't know any of these characters, so whatever you choose is fine. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I think she was just trusting me that I would pick ones that would sell, or ones that people would appreciate.
So obviously, I mean, they're coming out on Kickstarter, and then some came out on Kickstarter. And so what is that like? Because obviously people want cool stuff, and how's the reception been? Because 3 of them are out, and how has that been? Because I think people are starved for cool content, and obviously, I mean, it's con artists, I think is what most of this stuff is, and it fits kind of. But what is that like? Because
so I haven't really been involved in the Kickstarters themselves, but I know at conventions when I have them, it's cool seeing the people that come up and appreciate it, because then I can actually have a conversation with these people about like the first time they play that game, or like what that story means to them. So like the Beatrix one I had, that came out at Planet about almost 2 months ago, and the people that recognized it, it's not as popular as that one's not as popular as like a Tifa or an Aerith. But when people do see it, they're like, oh my gosh, like I haven't seen any art of Beatrix. Like, that's awesome. So it's cool to connect with those people on a more niche character, something that is not seen a lot. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to mix in like some niche characters with stuff you haven't either not seen, or it's been a long time since you've seen it. And then, of course, like do the heavy hitters like Tifa and Aerith probably later in the series.
No, and then obviously, I mean, it fits perfectly, and then the whole set, and that's the other thing that's cool is that when you have all 10 of them, I mean, if somebody has all 10 of them, I mean, it's a nice little set. Right?
Yeah, well, I think what's going to happen is like I'm going to release an Aerith or a Tifa, and they're going to be like, oh, I didn't know this is part of a series. Like, what else have you done? And like, oh, now I got to get my hands on number 3. I'm like, well, number 3 sold out. You should have caught on before,
No, it makes sense. And then obviously, I mean, there's some other stuff that obviously con artists you've done. But then since you mentioned Street Fighter and Udon, I mean, I want to talk about that because you've done the Cammy stuff, and I think we spoke about that before. And I have those covers. And
I don't know if I had done the Cammy since we last talked. I guess we have, but yeah, I did the Cammy almost 2 years ago, and then I had a Darkstalkers last summer.
And then obviously there's some other stuff. So here's the Darkstalker stuff. As soon as it pops up, because apparently my laptop is being difficult with me. It's gonna pop up eventually, hopefully.
Oh, you're good.
But yeah. So, because that's through, I think, what is it, Skull Sapphire Comics?
Sapphire Skull, yeah, Sapphire Skull Comics.
There
But
we go.
now he's working with Sean under Comics Elite, so I'm not sure what the future of his company is going to be because he's doing stuff for Sean now. So I don't know. I don't know what the future of his stuff is going to be, but I'm hoping I can still work with Udon. Like maybe I'll just if Sapphire Skull can't do it, then I'm going to reach out to them directly and be like, hey, like here's my covers I've done for you in the past. I want to do something else because I love working for Udon. I love the characters, love how colorful and exaggerated they are.
So what is that like? Because again, it's an exclusive. It's
Mhm.
Udon, it's
Yep.
Darkstalkers, and obviously it has a following. And getting to work on that, I mean, it's a cool property to work on and be a
Hmm.
part of, and having your portfolio. I guess. I mean, I don't want to say you're spoiled, but to a degree, it
Hmm.
is being spoiled when you get to work on licensed properties and draw covers and have your artwork out on those. Because how many people in comics really get to do that?
I'm not sure. Maybe I am spoiled because I don't realize like the amount of artists that don't get to do that stuff. But yeah, like now that I have those under my belt, like it makes me more valuable. So even if I do a commission for someone, they're going to see that I've done Street Fighter or Udon in the past, and so I love being handed a Street Fighter or a Capcom blank. It's like, hey, can you draw a Chun Li or can you draw a Jury? Like I love that because those are the kind of characters I like to draw. So when people see that I'm associated with that, it just feeds into me even more.
And then obviously you're just getting to dark draw. I mean,
Well,
yeah,
right, yeah,
you're getting to draw a Darkstalker. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
it's pretty cool, right? And then
yeah, exactly.
again, it's an exclusive and it's for somebody's store, their web
Mhm.
store, whatever it is. And that's the other thing too that I think also is that it's not just that it's cover C, right? And then it gets
Mhm.
lost in the shuffle. I mean, there's some exclusivity to it, but you've done other work for them too. I think you've done this one right here, which is Sabrina. So as it pops up,
Yeah, yeah.
as soon as it pops up, it'll pop up eventually. I promise. Hopefully, eventually it will pop up. I think. But anyway, how'd you do that? Because I think you did some Sabrina Archie
So
stuff.
yeah, the Sabrina for Archie that was done last summer, I think. I want to say last summer, last fall. Yeah, there we go. And then right before it was like around December, we released the Christmas version. Yep. And I was actually going to release the Christmas version from whenever I went to Clan McDonald for I'd go up there every year around December, like usually right before Christmas, to do a sale. And I had it all set up. I was like, oh, sweet. There was limited to 50. And I think I had I had like 25 of my own copies and got them delivered that day there. And then I showed up at Clan McDonald and I got the sickest I'd ever been. Like I don't think I've ever been that sick before in my life. I did this Friday sale and I felt okay Friday. And then I woke up Saturday. I'm like, I could barely stand up. I've never felt so bad. So I got to the store though, and I was like, I immediately just needed to lay down. I signed one comic that day and it took like all my effort just to sign a comic. I met one person. I'm like, I can't even shake your hand because I'm going to get you sick. But I couldn't do the day. Like I've never had to cancel anything from how sick I was. So I went back to the hotel, slept the whole day, and then I woke up on Sunday, slept all of Sunday. I was supposed to go home on Sunday, but then I was like, I can't drive. So Monday, I'm sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent.
Oh no, please. That's fine.
Monday, I was like, I can't stay in a hotel again because I'm spending like $150 a night, and that's like all the money I had made Friday was gone from a hotel, and then like I'm also spending it in my own money. So this is a net negative for me, just like being in a hotel in Chicago. I was like, I gotta go home. So I went to the Clan McDonald, picked up my stuff, and then I drove home, which is like about 3.5, 4 hours. But I stopped every probably hour just to see if I would need to take a nap because I could barely drive. Anyway, that was the story. I did make it home, obviously, but I that was the story behind that cover. I don't think I may have sold one version of that cover since then, but that was supposed to be the release weekend, and I couldn't make it happen. So I still feel really bad about that weekend. I tell Michael and Aaron about that, the guys that work there, but I squandered it. It was awful as I was so sick, but hopefully I can promote it more this year. Maybe 2026 Christmas will be the year for the Sabrina cover.
So obviously, I mean, con crud's a real thing, and this wasn't con crud.
It was not con crud because like I hadn't been in a con. It was just I don't know what it was. It could have been the flu because I didn't throw up though as a thing. I just felt like I had no appetite. I lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks. That's like a pound a day that I was losing because I didn't eat. I couldn't eat. I just lay on the couch for 2 weeks. Like I said, I've never been that sick in my life. It was awful.
I'm not laughing at you. I think
no. That's fine. I laughed at the situation. I don't mind.
But my point is that, you know, obviously it's a Christmas cover and it's an awesome cover, right? I mean, it was
a lot of fun to do,
cover, right? And it's
that
just
cover actually. I probably spent 3 times as much time on the background than I did on the actual character.
That's crazy. That's wild. That's just.
I mean,
wild.
There's so much detail in the town. Like I probably could have even pushed it further, but the character herself didn't take me that long. It was the background that took me forever.
But yeah, so obviously you still have it, and you could release your 24 that are left or your 23 that are left,
right?
And
yep.
pick that up. And but that's crazy. But again, it's Archie, it's Sabrina, so it's always perfect, right? For that. And then obviously continuing speaking about this, and then obviously, you know, Into the Void, because I like this. It reminds me of Born of Blood.
It's Giaris, the character from Born of Blood, but it's just she's on a different title. Sean explained it to me, like how they're crossing over. I kind of lost track with everything because it's pretty detailed. But he had it all in his head. He spilled it all out to me. I wish I could reiterate it, but like my memory is just not that good. But yeah, this is Giaris from Born of Blood, but it's just under the title Into the Void. I think Into the Void is like a conglomeration of all the characters from Merc together. So I don't know if it's necessarily focusing on one or the other, but it features every character. And Sean was kind of proud that he was able to kill off a lot of the fluff characters, like right off the bat. Like they're all dead, so that way he doesn't have to keep writing them.
That's interesting. Again, I have not picked up a Merc book in a while, just because
I hadn't done a Merc book in a while. The last Merc book I had done before that was the C2E2 of 2023 exclusive. So that was almost like 3 years I had done since I'd done a Merc cover.
Oh, it's nothing against Merc. It's just that
exactly
so much content out there, and it's impossible to keep up. And so, you know, that's that. But I digress on that. But obviously, I mean that's that book, and it's beautifully illustrated. So we have that.
Thank you.
And then there's some other stuff too that I want to get into and talk about, because you know there's a lot of stuff you've done. Obviously this one right here, I think hopefully it'll pop up eventually. Because
I was hoping you would bring this one up. Sorry, did you have a question first before I just like go ramble?
Oh no, Bad Donut. I love Bad Donut. I think Bad Donut's a fun company. I think that.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. So I've never met him. I'm sorry.
They're just a wild company.
Yeah. So I've never met. I think his name's John, the owner. I've never met him, talked to him. It's always just been through Instagram messaging. But man, this cover, he got in touch with me about this like probably in August last year. Could have been even before that, but I kept asking him. I was like, "Hey, do you have a deadline for this?" Because I had so much work just piled up, and I knew this would take me a long time because this is a 4-cover connecting set. It's what would that be? It would be 22 inches by 34 inches. So basically like full movie poster size. But when I initially penciled out, it was just going to be like 4 portraits basically of the characters like in a line. But I was like, you know what? Like you can make this way more interesting and stack it so that where they're all together like on ammo boxes and stuff. So I sent him the lines for this version. He was like, "Oh, that's awesome." I never even thought about doing like a stacked version like that. And so again, that was like back in August or so. And then I think I finally got to I had jumped on some other projects, and I think I finally got to like I do like a grayscale underpainting. I think I got to that like in December or so, but then I got sick and I didn't work for probably 2 or 3 weeks. It was like a forced vacation, and then I finally got back into it around like January, February, and then I had the Into the Void cover come up. I'm like, oh, I got to get this out in February, and then I had to do another poster in March, so I had to put it on hold again. And then I was like, okay, I can get this done in April, and so I kept updating him like, hey, I don't want you to think I forgot about this. I just had stuff like kept coming up and needed like quicker due dates, and so I finally got it out towards the end of April. I think that's when he said he was going to do his Kickstarter. So I don't know if I guess he's launched his Kickstarter by now. I'm not sure. But that cover, it was probably one of the most ambitious projects I've ever done. But I think it turned out great. I'm really happy with how it looks.
So what is that like? Because it's a big one, right? I mean, it's what is it, like 4 comic covers essentially?
Yes, 4 covers stacked together. So you can bisect it down the center and then across as well. But yeah, it was a matter of like just drawing it all at once. I didn't really focus on one at a time. I think when I colored it, I kind of did, but when I was drawing it, I'm drawing it like the entire thing together. I'm not just drawing one cover at a time. I'm drawing the entire thing, and then that way at the end, it's one piece, but it's also 4 different pieces.
No, because it's a crazy concept. It's a crazy concept.
It is. Absolutely.
So crazy concept. That is my point. But again, they're a crazy company, and I mean, it must be cool though that you now can do something like that, because connecting covers are fascinating.
I would love to get the print version of that. Like I said, I don't know if his Kickstarter is live or if he's launched it yet, but I would love to get my own copies of that, because I would love to see. I mean, I guess I could always print a poster myself, but I don't want to like do it without. I mean, it's his cover. Like I don't want to reproduce it without his permission, but I'd love to get a poster of it to put like at a booth, or something. It would save a lot of space, but it would look really cool.
So that's interesting, right? Because I mean, like, because when we get into art, right? Because there's comic covers and there's prints of books, right? So like this as a print would be sick, right? Not even but like just as a print would be cool, or a poster, or even like a roller poster, or like an 11x17, because there is a position where 4 comics and you got to take it out to see the whole picture. While it's cool in a comic format, you don't really get to see it the same way.
Unless there was like a way to, if you had all 4 comics and then display them next to each other, like in a mat, maybe like some kind of frame. And then that way you would get the full size, or not even the full size, because the full size would be, 22 by 34. And so 4 comics together, I forget what the measurement of a comic book is, but essentially probably like half of that.
Oh, that's so interesting. It's so interesting. Again, I think the cover is fascinating. I think the whole concept's fascinating. I think
it is. Yeah, it was very ambitious. Took me like pretty much 9 months to finish it, because I had so many other things come up in the meantime. And it's also like I didn't want to have to do it all in one run. I like to, when I do covers, I like to focus on one at a time. I don't like to balance covers, but with that one, I had to dip in and out of it, because if I had done the whole thing at once, it would have taken me. I mean, I was going to burn out with that one cover, and I had to like take a step back and then work on something else and then go back into it, because it was just so ambitious. It was impossible for me to do the whole thing in one run.
Oh, that's so interesting. Again, I mean, I'm not a cover artist, and that's not what I do. So, but I find creation to be a fascinating process. Just in general. But obviously, I mean, it's cool, and
thank you.
I would imagine it's successful. And then obviously we mentioned Lady Death, so we might as well talk about that too.
Yeah.
So this right here, it's Hell Witch. So obviously as soon as it pops up, but you worked on Hell Witch, and then you worked, I think, on another Lady Death. And
yes,
I mean, Brian Pulido, Lady Death, Coffin Comics. That is a unique animal collectively. I don't know how to explain Coffin any other way than that.
It was, again, a ton of fun working with Brian. I didn't actually work with Brian. It was through the editor, but Brian was the person that approached me at a convention and asked me if I wanted to do work for them, which was an awesome, like, did I tell you the story about how I met Brian? Oh, well, he left. All right. Well, whoever's watching, I'll tell you the story about how I met Brian. So I was at Motor City Comic Con, and I was wearing a Power Trip shirt. They're a thrash metal band, and two guys approached me. One of them was wearing a Black Sabbath shirt, and so the guy in the Black Sabbath shirt, he was like, "Oh, hey, I like your Power Trip shirt." I was like, "Oh, I like your Black Sabbath shirt." So we just started cutting up, talking about metal music, and we hit it off really well. And then after probably a few minutes of talking, he was like, "Oh, by the way, I'm Brian Polito. I want to see if you would do a cover for us." And I was like, "Oh my God, yes!" Like, I had just reached out to Coffin. Okay, you're back. So I was telling the story. I didn't want to stop just because you left.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Continue.
So, but anyway, Brian asked me to do a cover for him, and I was like, "Yeah, that'd be great." I had reached out to them to see if I could do a cover, but I got a bounce back email, automated, saying like, "Hey, we're not looking for any artist submissions at this time." But then Brian asked me personally to do it, so I reached out to him, and then we got 3 covers set up. 2 of them have been released, which you've seen, the Lady Death and the Hell Witch. The other one is a Lady Satanist, but I'm not sure if they're going to release it or if they're just sitting on it for now. But that's as much as I can say about it. I'm not sure if it's going to see the light of day.
So yeah, but obviously that's the other Lady Death
Yep.
out there. And so I mean, what? But like again, we go back to this whole thing where obviously Brian Polito, Coffin Comics, they hire a lot of people to do a lot of cover work. People like Keith Garvey have been there, Sen Kumanaki's been there, E-Bass I think has done work.
Yeah.
I mean, the list can go on and on and on. I mean, we can name like 50,000 artists who have worked for Coffin. Dawn Mateague or Mateague, not exactly sure. I'm sure Chazudis has done work for them. So what is that like? Because it is, if you're an artist, that's a company, that's a good company to work for.
Of course.
Getting to play in Lady Death's, I guess, realms. And they might be the most successful Kickstarter comic company out there.
Yeah, I mean, well, now they have their own platform. I don't think they use Kickstarter anymore. They have their own thing through their own website. But again, yeah, it's awesome, like being able to be featured alongside those artists. Like even with Clan McDonald, when I did a cover for them, they had like 8 artists. I think they were doing they did like a series at the end of 2024 or 2023. I can't remember. But I did a Princess Leia for them. It was like a cosplay cover for their Cause and Effect. And the artist lineup on that, I was like, why is it an all-star lineup plus me? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And they're like, well, no, like we wanted to have you along. Like this is like the group we wanted. I was like, all right, that's great. Because some of my favorite artists were on that. I mean, aside from like Art Germ, but like, Elias was on there. I don't know if DeBalfa was on there, but Elias, E-Bass, I'm not sure who else is on there. Anyway, I love those 2 artists, plus Mike, but I don't think Mike was on it. Either way, it was an honor to be featured along some of those amazing. Oh, Shikari was on it too. But yeah, it was an honor to be featured alongside those artists.
I mean, I was interviewing a wrestler, and what she said is that when she was invited to WrestleCon, she was next to like Booker T and like Ron Simmons, and she said, well, and a bunch of other like legends, and he said, well, I wasn't invited there if I didn't belong and I didn't have a seat at the table.
Yeah.
So there's that, and I think there's something to be said about that, right? Is that if you're invited and there's now, I'm going to say this the nicest way I can say it, and I'm going to get shit for it, so feel free to call me out on it. But if you don't feel you're at the level of everybody else and you're at the lowest level and you're the new kid on the block, but you're with the old veterans or the established and you're in the club, obviously their level and your level must to some degree be the same if you're included in that project.
Yeah, there's definitely some credibility to that. And like, I think there's also maybe it's like imposter syndrome or something on my end. But I think part of it is the personability between artist and publisher, and being able to be easy to work with, I think is also a big part of it, but also like your skill. And like, and back to our first point, is your art going to sell books? Because that's really what it boils down to. Like, is your art going to make this profitable?
Yeah. And also I'll say it this way too, is that how expensive you are Because if you're doing a cover for $500 and they think that they can get 2,500 out of you, I mean, and not to get into the economics of it, but there's also rate of return, ROI, all that matters too, and balancing out. But I digress. I don't want to get into the whole system of that. And
because I don't know that system. Like, I just do the art. Like, obviously, I want my art to be valuable, but like, I'm not a business person. I mean, I guess I am, like, because I manage my own business, but like, I don't manage employees, or like, I'm not managing hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, like, I'm just one guy that does art. So yeah, my knowledge is limited there anyway.
So that's in play, but obviously, and then we already mentioned it, and I do want to talk about Cheeky Comics and Escort, which hopefully will pop up eventually. But what's that whole thing? Because obviously Ralph is now doing his own thing at Black Crow, after Zenoscope, and so, with Cheeky, and there we go.
So Ralph had reached out to me probably in June or July last year and asked if I would want to be part of the Escort again. Like, it was awesome seeing the roster that he had for the only the first issue was out at the time, and the reference image he sent me for this cover was I think it was Ebass's cover. I think he did the first one of issue 1, and so Ralph sent that to me. I was like, oh sweet, like I get to work with Ralph directly, and also work on covers that some of my favorite artists have worked on. So doing that, and then I met Ralph in person at C2E2. I guess C2E2 would have been in April, maybe. So maybe it was before that, because we had already set up the cover before I met him. So I went to go meet him in person, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't really know what to expect." Like, when he found me, because he didn't know what it looked like. I didn't really know what he looked like. But I just went and found him. He was at the not Cheeky Comics, but what am I trying to say? What's the publisher name? It's on the cover. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Crow?
No, not Black Crow.
Space in Between?
Yes, Space Between. Space Between Entertainment. He was at that booth, and so I went and found him, talked about the cover, and then he gave me an issue of the first cover. But yeah, so we talked about how I would set it up, and then that's the first and last cover I've done for him. But yeah, that one came out in September 2025.
So what is it like to be working for them? Because I think this is your first, cover dealing with Cheeky Comics, Space Between, obviously working with Ralph, who's now involved in that company. And I mean, that's another one, right? That's popped up that does a lot of business. It's Pat Shand. And so what is that like? Because again, all of these places are, I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's a lot of, I guess, mid-sized level, Kickstarter level, production company. I don't know what we call them, but they're not $5,000 campaigns, right? I mean, so like, and there's a lot of potential work involved.
I mean, it's cool. Like, you get to be featured along some of like the artists that I looked up to when I was developing my skill. Ebass, Don, Chazutis, and Mike DeBalfo were like those are my top people that I would kind of follow and see how they did art, and like that's what a big influence was on me. Alongside my other two favorite Art Germ and Frank Frazetta, my all-time favorite artist. But Art Germ's on his own level, and then Frank Frazetta, he passed away. So, but still, he's still a huge influence on my art. But Art Germ, him still being in the world, and like also these other artists that I know, like on a personal level now, which is kind of wild. Like Dawn, I can go up and say hi to Dawn. Like, Dawn knows who I am. Like, Mike knows who I am. Jamie, like anytime I talk to Jamie Tyndall at a convention, like he approaches me, he's like, "Hey Tristan, what's going on?" Like, it's wild, because like these are guys that I all followed when I was in college, like just learning how to draw the way that I do now.
I mean, again, I just get to dream people, and nobody knows who I am, and nobody recognizes me. So I'm perfectly fine with that.
Well, I mean, because you're in your world, and like I'm an artist, like in the artist world, so like the artists kind of know each other. So there's definitely a wall there. I think that's why.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm only joking, but I like keeping it my way because I'm an interviewer, and it makes there's a reason why there's a wall. It's very rare that somebody recognizes me in an interview. It's very rare. But I have friends who know who I am, and they
Yeah,
always
exactly.
But I digress right there. But obviously, I want to talk about some other stuff revolving around Kickstarter and your opinion on this.
Hmm.
And a lot of stuff happened in comics, I think, this week, where we had the whole Kickstarter not safe for work ban, and then we had that reversed. And I'm confused
I didn't
completely.
know anything about it. This is the first I'm hearing about it.
So supposedly they said Stripe was not going to process topless, risque,
Mhm.
potential other stuff, maybe full form of nudity. I don't
Mhm.
really know exactly. And then they reversed it because there was backlash.
Mhm.
But I don't really know what the hell happened. I don't know what happened. I'm very confused on this. And my opinion on it, and it's okay if you don't have an opinion, but I'll just state mine, is that
Mhm.
it's private censorship and it's not good, but it's not illegal.
Right.
Kickstarter is a private platform and
Mhm.
they can do whatever the hell they want to
Right.
do, good, bad, and different. I'm not one to censor art, censor speech by
But you're
any
also
means.
like, in a way, you're imposing your morals on someone else.
It, it,
Like,
it,
and as a
it,
company, like, I don't think you have. It's not that you don't have a right, but it's like you don't have an obligation to do that.
it's also complicated though because I think that this is how I view it is that comics make up 3 to 4% of the whole position on Kickstarter.
Mhm.
They have one of the highest funding rates though. It's about 60 to 78%,
Mhm.
which is really high. So I but like people say it's safeguarding, but my understanding of Kickstarter is that you need to have an active credit card and you can't have a debit or a credit card unless you're 18. So I
Yep.
don't even know if it's gatekeeping in that.
Oh no, is he gone again? All right, who's watching? Let's see. Sahir, are you still there? Chat with you. Oh, I can't even chat because I'm not logged in. Sahir 18, you said, "Good evening, fellas. Good evening. How are you, man? Thanks for joining the stream. I don't even know if you're still there, but thanks for hanging out." This has been happening where he kind of just leaves me on my own. Still working on this little card, this little rogue card. If you join me on Thursday, I'll be in another interview where we'll be finishing these out. We'll be auctioning them off. And so I don't know if you were here earlier, but they have a little QR code on the back, and you can actually scan that and you can watch the recording of me drawing these, which I thought was really cool. I thought about doing that with my own art, like recording the process and then generating a QR code that leads you to maybe a Dropbox folder. Is he back? Is he back? Let's see. There you are. You back?
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully. Hopefully. This is not my day. It's just not my day.
Did you have an interview yesterday?
I did not have an interview yesterday.
Okay, I'm just wondering, when's the last time you had an interview? Was it doing it then?
No, it's just being difficult today.
Okay, that's nice.
It's sometimes what happens. It's been difficult all day.
Mm-hmm.
You have days where your internet doesn't work, right?
Sometimes I don't know. Ours is pretty reliable. You live out in the country?
No, I live in a nice little city and I live in an urban area. I
I don't
just
know.
think that it's just being difficult. It's just one of those days where it's just not working.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
It's been difficult all day. But anyway, what I'm asking essentially is that like I'm just curious what you think because my viewpoint is that they're a private company and they can do whatever the hell they want to do, but I don't think it's good. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an overreaction.
Yeah.
But I will say this: I wish Kickstarter would have a filter that eliminates that because I think that would be awesome. Just and not even just on a economic payment
Mm-hmm.
processing position, just so that I could search for certain things faster.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. Like if there was an ability on Kickstarter's end to just filter out like anything not safe for work, and then that way, when you're say if you're creating a campaign and it's going to have topless covers, you can just mark it not safe for work. That way, it can just be filtered out, and that way you could also only filter that in. Like, oh, I only want not safe for work. You left me again. You could only look for not safe for work. And so I think filtering it would be better than having a payment processor agreeing not to like process any payments. Because then you're kind of just imposing your morals on someone else. I'm like, not really about that. Like, just let people, like, nothing's illegal being done. Like, unless you're like selling stuff on like the black market, unless you're doing actually illicit activities, there's no reason to limit where your product can be used. I mean, I guess you can, like, you have a right to, but it's like, don't though. I don't know. That's my view. It probably depends on the situation too.
I'm here. So yeah. So what were you saying?
I was basically saying, like, as on Kickstarter's end, if you could filter out not safe for work stuff, that'd be great. Because then if you're creating a campaign, you could market not safe for work, and then you could either filter it out as a customer, or you could like only search not safe for work if that's really what you want. Like, oh, I'm only looking for not safe for work, so filter that in, and then it'd be easy. Like, then, I mean, on Stripe's end, like, you shouldn't have to worry about things like that. Like, just let it be done. Like, you're not doing anything illegal, so like you don't have an obligation to stop it from happening. You're not like I don't know, you're not selling roosters for cockfighting. You're not selling like your organs on the black market. Like, just
again,
you know what I mean? Like, then you can stop your payments from being processed. So I don't know.
It's kind of crazy because Stripe could still not process your payment.
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes a disaster. And this is where I think and again, I've said it and I put it really well. I said, nobody gets hurt by, jumping off so you don't get hurt on a roller coaster by jumping off of it while it's still in motion, right? So if you wait till the roller coaster stops, you're going to be fine. And everybody on Kickstarter, I think, like, my position is that I think we all got to wait to see how this plays out.
But also, like, it's not Stripe's business to like impose their morals on people, like, because you're a company. I don't feel like you're not the parent of me. Like, you're just a company. Like, just, you should let your thing be. And like, so let's say if they stop their stuff from being used for any kind of like comics like that, I would hope another company gets founded on like, okay, well, we're only going to process not safe for work things, and then they skyrocket in popularity because they actually do let their stuff get used.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just curious what you think, because
I think I just agree with you. Like, the Stripe, like, yeah, you can do it as a private company. You have the right, but like, it's just don't though. Like why? Why do you feel like you have to impose your morals on someone else?
I was just curious because, again, I am coming in as a consumer and as somebody who buys stuff, and my viewpoint is very, very different than everybody else's.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people would agree with you.
Again, I come from a different angle, so that's why I have my viewpoint. But I mean, I'm not gonna go figure out how to solve all these problems. But anyway, I want to look at cons with you too, because I haven't been to a con in almost 6 years.
Oh, and like, I think the entire time I've known you, you've never been to a convention.
I used to go, but I haven't been to a Comic-Con in almost 6 years.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't miss it. I have a viewpoint on it where they're so fucking expensive.
They are. It's ridiculous. I don't know ticket prices because I'm not on that end. I've never been to a convention, like, just as a guy. I'm always there as the artist, and like, it's kind of ridiculous what people will spend or what they make them spend, but also like the cons still sell out. So I think the organizers are still going to like keep the prices high. If people are willing to pay them, they're going to try and profit as much as they can.
Because I mean, I look at some of these ticket prices and it's like $120 for like a day pass, and I'm just like,
it's ridiculous. Is that for like New York Comic Con or C2? Is that for like the high end stuff?
I've seen so there was a Comic-Con / pop culture con, and it's like $35 a ticket, and then everything, like a voice actor signature, is like $60, and
the signatures are very expensive, which I've also said, like, you don't have to get anything signed. You could just go up and talk to someone. Like, that's free. You can just wait in line and talk to someone. You don't have to get anything signed. You could just go up there and like shake their hand and be like, hey, I loved you in this, or I loved you in that. So getting stuff signed, like, that does cost money. But if you also just want to meet the person, that doesn't cost anything besides the ticket price, I guess.
but like I've looked at it, I'm just like
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I can't afford it, and it kills me. And so
Yeah.
I completely just it is what it is. But yeah, I was just curious because if they're selling out and you're selling out merch, I mean, but like I'm just like yeah, like after a while, I'm just like my bank account is hurting.
Yeah.
And
No, I agree.
I feel the burn is my point. But
Yeah, and I'm just not as knowledgeable about what the ticket prices are. I know it's more than what I would want to spend, but I'm spending my booth fee, and I know certain conventions are more than others, and that kind of gets tiring. But because once I spend money on a booth, like now I got to make that money back to make this trip even worth it. Like not even make it back, but like I got my gas to pay for. If I'm staying at a hotel or an Airbnb, I got to make that money back. Also my time, like if I just break even, I think I told you this before. If I just break even at the end of a weekend, all I've done is just lost product. I've just lost comics that I can't get more of. And so it's honestly easier if someone were to just break into my house, steal my stuff, and then at least that way I don't lose any time. Because if I'm at a convention, I'm there the whole weekend stuck behind a booth. And then my whole weekend's gone. But if I could get there and I have to make sure I sell enough to make my time worth it.
I caught the back end of it.
Yeah. Well, I was saying, like, if you just if you only are at a convention and you break even, all I've done in that situation, I've just lost product. Because if I've broken even, I have the money back, but now I have less comics and I can't get more comics. So it's easier for me if someone just breaks into my house, steals my stuff, and leaves, because at least then my time isn't wasted.
That's kind of funny.
I could have cleaned out my gutters. I could have done something productive that weekend. Because if the booth price is that high, then now I gotta make $400 back, and I just sold a graded copy of this Lady Death. That was $400, but like now I just made my money back, but I've also lost that one of a kind comic that I had.
Fair enough. Again, it's hard and it's expensive and it's not easy, this whole industry. And so, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I was just curious because and then this kind of leads me to my next question, is that where do you see this industry going? Because right now, everything I think is so chaotic.
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't think I've been in it long enough to know. I will say that every year I've been in it since I've been published, it has gotten better. Every year has been better for me. So when I did my taxes in 2025, or for 2025, it was my best year yet. So every year has just gotten better for me. So, this year, I feel like so far, all I've been doing is just trying to catch up on work that I had backlogged from last year. So I'm at a tail end now. So I would say by next week, hopefully I will be done with all my work that I was trying to get out last year, because I was so bogged down with stuff. I have Nashville Comic-Con coming up, or Nashville GalaxyCon at the end of this month. And I really want to get all my projects done before I go to that, because I want to come back with a clean slate. Like I want to be able to reach out to publishers that I want to work with and tell them like, hey, I can get this out in 2 weeks. Like I'm ready to roll now. And so that's where I want to be, because I had so much independent stuff coming to me. I eventually had to like put a pause on it. And I was like, hold on, I don't want to do any more indie stuff. I want to reach back out to Coffin. I want to reach back out to like Comics Elite, or I want to like see if I can get in just doing bigger covers, because the independent stuff, like it's great. It always comes my way, but I want more time to do like some bigger stuff that adds more value to my name.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Again, I get it though, right? Leveling up, I get it. But that's so interesting. But again, I don't know what to say to that. But that's good, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I wish I could answer. I don't really know where it's going to go, but yeah, every year has been better for me. Like, so all I can do is hope that this year is even better than last.
Yeah, I hope so too for me. I hope so too. But who knows? It's been one of those just chaotic
Hmm.
years. So it's also 2025 was complicated. But I digress. I don't want to go. This is not about me.
Hmm.
Um, and obviously, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff going on. I mean, you got a bunch of appearances coming up.
Hmm.
So obviously, I do want to give a chance where people can find you, check you out, get all
Yeah.
your stuff, your website, other stuff you got coming out there, appearances at cons, if I don't already mention that, commission lists, if you have that open still,
Hmm.
and all that stuff where people can go and bother you.
So I kind of so after I got to backtrack a little bit. So when I got sick in December, I made a post about going to Clan McDonald, like, hey, I'm going to be at Clan McDonald for 2 days. Ended up being there for like 4 days, but I was sick for 2 or 3 of them. And so from that point up until Planet Comic-Con in March, I don't think I made a single post on my social media. Like, I was working, I had plenty of stuff to do. I was drawing, like I was getting that stuff out, but I didn't make a single post. It's like, I don't want to say I fell into like a depression, because I don't want to add like or say that I had something I didn't really have. It was more just like I was so focused on doing art, like I did not care about social media. Like I was just working, like just holed up in my office, like with a blanket on, just working every day, not talking to anyone except for my wife and my 3-year-old kid. And so it was more just like I was cabin fever almost. And I've made it a point now to kind of push more on my social media. So Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I've had a Twitter for like 15 years, but I never used it. But X now. Sorry, this is how far I've been away from it. I've been trying to update those more often, and so I've been making those time lapse videos. Did you see any of those that I put out on Instagram?
Yeah, I've seen a few of them.
Yeah, so I try and do those. Like, I don't know, they don't really get a lot of engagement, but I feel like it's a good way for people to see they actually care about how the process is done. They can see how it's done. And they can see like the entire process that I go through, which I think is important as an artist, to see the process and see, how I work. So yeah, I'm trying to put like out 3 posts a week, and I feel like that's manageable. The thing I need to work on still is doing more live streams on my own, so like on Whatnot or whatever. But back to the original question, where you can find me. Yeah, those 3 platforms. Also, I have a live sale this Friday with Sam Franklin. I don't know his Whatnot. It'll be on Whatnot. Just pay attention to what I'm doing. You'll find me. Anyway, I have a live sale with him on Friday. I have another sketch interview on Thursday. So this whole week's like full of stuff. I got yours. I got one on Thursday with a few other artists. And then I'm doing the live sale with Sam and myself. And then I'll be at GalaxyCon Nashville at the end of this month, and then I'm doing Indiana Comic Con the following weekend, first weekend of June, and then I don't know if I have anything else in June. I was signed up for Heroes, but I got waitlisted for that. Have you ever been to that?
I have not.
Okay, I have a lot of people tell me I should go, but I've tried to. Just I get waitlisted every time. But I think my next one for sure will be Fan Expo in Chicago. That one I've done. This will probably be like the 9th or 10th year I've done it. Back since it was like Wizard World. So, and I will have a new cover by then. So I have new stuff coming out, but I can't talk about it because it's not out there yet. But I promise there's one good cover I'm really looking forward to that's coming out. So keep up to date with that. And I don't know. Is that everything? Did I cover everything? My website, obviously. Commissions, yeah, you can reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram, like Messenger, and like just tell me what you want, and I can see if I have a bunch of blanks myself. So if you want it on a blank, I also do 8x12 or 8.5x11 paper, like it's cardstock paper. I can do those on that too. So I can always take commissions. It just depends how fast I can get it back to you. Sometimes it's going to be like a week. Other time I have something from Planet Comic-Con I'm still working on, so that's like 2 months. But I know the guy really well. He said take your time on it, so I'm not really in a rush. But yeah, I can do commissions. That I did that Final Fantasy commission. Did you see that on my Instagram?
Yeah.
Sketch cover. So yeah, that was a guy that just reached out to me. He's followed some of my Whatnot streams, but he asked for that, and I got it done like maybe in a couple weeks or so. But then once I got it done, I showed it to him. He's like, "All right, can you just send it off for grading?" So now I sent it off to CGC last week, and as soon as it gets back to me, I'll mail it back to him.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, if that's something you want to, if you want to commission, I'll commission you, and then I'll send it off for grading if you want to do that too.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And then obviously this is my show, so I promote myself. Obviously I am Pop Anime Comics on Twitter/X, Pop Anime Comics on Instagram, Pop Anime Comics on Facebook, Pop Anime Comics on YouTube. Please subscribe. Got 925. We're trying to get to 950 by the end of the year. I think it's a very doable goal. 25 is not that big of a jump. So definitely trying to do that. You know, we got essentially 7 months to do it. So I think it's doable. TikTok, Pop Anime Comics. eBay is this right here, everybody. Hopefully this graphic will show up. Pop Anime Comics Collectibles. So beautiful graphic right there. Come buy stuff from my eBay store. I do carry stuff like this in my eBay store, as if it would pop up, which it is not. This is not good, but anyway, if it does pop up, that's in there. I buy cards like that in there, John Cena cards. You name it, I got it. Cards, comics, all that fun stuff. A lot of cool stuff. So, you know, that's pretty much my whole thing right there. And I've been saying it for a long time. Go to my eBay store, Pop Anime Comics Collectibles. It's linked down below. Or just type in Pop Anime Comics, you'll find me. And first off, go to my store, see if there's anything you want in there. If you see what you want, buy it. If you're looking for something in particular, ask me on eBay because I may have it and I'll happily list it for you. And if I don't have it, you know, I know somebody who does. And I've been saying that forever. So that's the whole thing right there. And that's pretty much everything I got going on. And I do run another show called Big Boy Card Collecting where I educate and break card stuff open. So if you're into that stuff, and it's a good time had by all. So definitely check that out. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I got going on. So I'm going to give you the final word.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And hopefully next time we do another interview, I'll have some good stuff I can show. I feel like the next few months, since I've kind of put off all my indie stuff for now, hopefully by the next time we'll have like some big covers we can talk about, some big news. I'm hoping for it. I think I'm in a good place for it. So we'll see where that goes. And yeah, I think there will be some good stuff to talk about next time we get together. We don't have to make it 18 months. We can always make it 12 months. We can make it like a year or so from now. But we'll try and get together again at some point. But yeah, no, it's been good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Anytime, everybody. And that is a wrap.